10 Best Picks presents the top 10 best gaming mouses. Starting at number 10. Razer Viper Ultralight. The Razer Viper is an excellent wired gaming mouse. It's very similar to the wireless Razer Viper Ultimate, although it has slightly inferior feet and doesn't come with a charging cradle. On the upside, the wired Viper is very lightweight and has amazing performance and low click latency. The mouse's shape is great for fingertip grip users thanks to its low-profile body and is very comfortable to use. This mouse is very lightweight for a typical mouse. It's even slightly lighter than the Razer Viper Ultimate without its cable, but not quite as light as ultralight gaming mice like the Cooler Master MM710 Final Mouse Ultralight 2, Cape Town. If you like the Razer Viper and want something similar that's a bit lighter, however, check out the smaller Razer Viper Mini. This mouse is very well built. It feels the same as the wireless Razer Viper Ultimate, but with slightly inferior feet. On the upside, there's no rattling part and the mouse wheel feels durable. Also, the mouse click buttons are satisfying, although they wobble a bit. Just like the Ultimate, this mouse has optical switches for the main click buttons. Every button on this mouse can be reprogrammed. It also has two side buttons and each side of the mouse, which gives you extra inputs. By default, the profile switching command isn't set, and you need to assign it in the software. While it's fully compatible with Windows, there are a few things that don't work on macOS. The right side buttons don't work in right-handed mode, and since the software isn't available on this operating system, you won't be able to remap the controls to something other than their default settings. If you want a mouse that has software that can be installed on macOS as well, check out the SteelSeries Rival 310, though it doesn't perform quite as well overall. The Razer Viper is an excellent wired gaming mouse. It's very similar to the wireless Razer Viper Ultimate, although it has slightly inferior feet and doesn't come with a charging cradle. On the upside, the wired Viper is very lightweight and has amazing performance and low click latency. The mouse's shape is great for fingertip grip users thanks to its low-profile body and is very comfortable to use. At number 9. Razer BASILISKX. Razer is rounding out its Basilisk family of high-performance gaming mice with the Razer BASILISKX Hyperspeed. This gaming mouse takes some elements of the original Basilisk's design and converts it into a wireless version while reducing the price too. That puts the Razer BASILISKX Hyperspeed into an impressive spot, as it can compete with the best gaming mice on price and performance, while many of those mice are wired. Meanwhile, the Razer BASILISKX Hyperspeed has dual-mode wireless with two 4G HZ or Bluetooth connections, akin to the $49 Corsair Harpoon RGB wireless. The Razer BASILISKX Hyperspeed takes the shape of the original Basilisk, with its sweeping thumb grip, angular front design, and sloping surface. But it makes some changes. For one, it's simpler and has a more basic grip design. The left side has two thumb buttons. The notched scroll wheel doesn't have any special adjustments. There's no RGB, and the DPI switch just has one light. It also uses Razer's own mechanical switches, which are rated for 50 million clicks. These are nice and clicky, with a consistent feel and no mushiness for the thumb buttons. Many gamers may still worry about wireless connections for gaming mice, but they've come a long way. The 4G HZ wireless available to the Razer BASILISKX Hyperspeed offers no noticeable latency in our experience, and that's while gaming at upwards of 100 frames per second. The mouse also comes out of sleep mode from both clicks and movements, making it easier to avoid shooting an NPC in the face right after a long conversation. While playing through the second half of The Outer Worlds, the Razer BASILISKX never struggles to snap our aim on targets. Tracking proves consistent, whether we're making small adjustments to keep a distant target in our sights or whipping around to turn on an enemy approaching from behind us. The Razer BASILISKX Hyperspeed mouse delivers top-notch wireless gaming performance with impressive battery life and a solid design with an even more solid price. Number 8 of my list. Logitech G Pro. The Logitech G Pro Wireless is an excellent wireless gaming mouse that's versatile enough for office use. It has very good performance and is customizable within the companion app. Its size and shape are nice and comfortable, which is suitable for almost every hand size and grip, other than small hands using the fingertip grip. Also, it has an ambidextrous design and has very low click latency when using it wired or wirelessly. That said, using it with its cable creates some drag. Also, it only has 2 additional buttons on each side, which may not be enough for competitive MMO gamers. The Logitech G Pro Wireless is quite light when used wirelessly, although not as much as some ultralight gaming mice we've reviewed. Also, there's no weight optimization available. If you want a lighter wireless gaming mouse, check out the SteelSeries Aerox 3 Wireless or the Logitech G Pro X Superlight. The Logitech G Pro mouse's build quality is excellent. This is an all-plastic design that feels dense and sturdy, and no wobble is perceivable. The feet are good and slide well. You can also switch the side buttons to the left or right side, and you can still have all 4 at once, which is useful. However, the left and right buttons rattle a bit when you shake it. The Logitech G Pro has decent wireless versatility. It comes with a USB receiver that can also be connected to an adapter, which is then connected to the cable. This puts the receiver in a closer range of the mouse for better performance. It also has an auto-off timer of 5 minutes to save battery life. If you want a mouse that has a multi-device pairing feature, check out the Razer DEATHADDER V2 Pro. The Logitech G Pro Wireless is a great mouse for MMO gaming. It's quite comfortable to use, although those with smaller hands may struggle to use it with a fingertip grip. It's not designed with MMOs in mind, as it has only 8 buttons and 2 side buttons on each side, which should be decent enough for casual uses but not competitive. Coming at number 7. Razer NAGA TRINITY. The Razer NAGA TRINITY is a great, versatile gaming mouse thanks to its swappable side panel design. Whether you play FPS or MMO games, you'll find a button layout that's good for you. This is a wired-only mouse with very low latency, which is great. It's also compatible with Razer Synapse 3, which allows a great amount of customization. However, it's a bit bulky, so it won't be great for traveling or if you have smaller hands. Nevertheless, the NAGA TRINITY is very well built and great for gamers who like a wider and taller body. The ergonomics of this mouse are great. It's made for right-handed people, and the overall feel depends on which side panel you use. With the 12-button one, some buttons are harder to reach. Due to its large format, this mouse is better used in palm or claw grip and isn't recommended for people with smaller hands. Fixed an error with the number of programmable inputs. We didn't count for the extra layer of inputs you get with the Hypershift button. The Razer NAGA comes with 3 different side panels that offer different button layouts. You can get up to 20 total buttons using the 12-button panel, which is great for MMOs. You can easily set their function in the app and switch between DPI settings and profiles. You also get an extra layer of customizable inputs with the Hypershift button. The NAGA TRINITY is compatible with the Razer Synapse 3 software, which allows many customization options. You can play around with the RGB lighting and set the performance settings to your preference. If you like to play different games with different settings, it's quite easy to save profiles and switch between them. There's also a function to calibrate your mouse to a Razer mousepad, but we didn't test this. The settings are saved inside the mouse's onboard memory, so you won't lose them if you plug it into a new computer. Excellent for MMOs. This mouse has very low latency, and you can choose to get up to 19 programmable buttons. The mouse has good ergonomics and feels good in the hand, but might be a bit bulky for smaller hands. At number 6. Razer DEATHADDER V2. The Razer DEATHADDER V2 improves on everything we love about the DEATHADDER Elite, itself one of the best gaming mice, and one that has been around since 2016 in various forms. But is the DEATHADDER V2, with its improved optical sensor, more durable left and right mouse buttons, and a smoother scroll wheel, one of the best mice money can buy? Yes. The most obvious improvement is the Focus Plus optical sensor, the same one used in the excellent Razer Viper Ultimate Wireless. I'll go into it in a second, but I was more impressed by the more subtle changes Razer has made for the V2. The first is the scroll wheel. Razer has a ridiculous name for the new design, instinctive scroll wheel tactility, but the results are perfect. It's exactly the right tightness. It spins smoothly, but you can still feel every notch of the turn, so you won't accidentally scroll too many times. The fact Razer is using a new wire with an equally ridiculous name, SpeedFlex cable, also sounds insignificant, but turns out to be a big deal. I've used a version of the DEATHADDER for years, and my one complaint is that the stiffer wire can sometimes pull the mouse to one side, depending on how it sits on my desk. The V2's wire is the most flexible I've tried on a gaming mouse, and ultimately that means it's less likely to impact your mouse movement, even if you get lazy about wire management, like me. However, carrying on a trend in recent Razer mice, the left and right mouse buttons are a bit flimsy. They feel fine, even sturdy, when you're clicking them straight on, but the slightest amount of sideways pressure makes them waggle off center. It makes me think they couldn't take much of a beating, such as if you threw the V2 into a bag before running out the door. It's a relatively minor gripe, but I noticed the same thing with the Viper Ultimate Wireless, and I hope Razer can sort it soon. It detracts from the overall solid build. Whether or not you should buy it therefore depends on how good a deal you can get on the Elite and how much you value the incremental improvements the V2 offers. If you want the absolute best version of Razer's most reliable wired mouse, this is it. But if you want to save a bit of cash, then you still can't go wrong with the older model. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Halfway of my listed number 5. Logitech G203. The Logitech G203 Prodigy is one of the cheapest gaming mice on the market. Its price of $23 means that it's far more affordable than the big brand mice that dominate gaming discussions and experts events. That price is even lower than our previous budget favorite, the HyperX Pulsefire Surge RGB, which currently costs $46. The low price means that the Logitech G203 Prodigy concentrates on the basics. On the inside, that means an optical sensor with an 8000 dpi sensitivity level. Don't be fooled by the packaging saying 6000 dpi, by the way, Logitech has improved that figure with a firmware update. However, the lower budget is evident here. The main buttons are loud, and they have a little more travel and a little less speed than buttons on pricier peripherals. For mainstream gaming, this won't slow you down, but competitive players will want shallower, faster mechanics. The side buttons are acceptable, but they're spongy and require too much force to press. The scroll wheel is lighter and consistent, but it has no horizontal clicking, and its scrolling is staggered, not smooth. The G203's surface isn't the best either. It's smooth and slippery, and the situation won't improve if your hands get sweaty. The HyperX is better. Its main buttons are faster and lighter than the Logitech, and they have an endurance rating of 50 million clicks, while the G203 is rated for only 10 million. The Logitech G203 Prodigy is a good, affordable gaming mouse with enough precision to handle mainstream games alongside decent buttons. It's even got RGB LEDs. However, pricier rodents will have crisper, faster buttons, a larger, more ergonomic design and extra features. Coming in at number 4 of my list. Razer 6400 dpi. The DEATHADDER Essential is mostly formed of hard plastic, making it a rather comfortable mouse to use. In addition, the recessed rubber scroll wheel offsets the plastic nicely. In reality, it's the classic DEATHADDER design brought right up to date for the mass market, especially given its price of just £49.99. There are some nicely textured finishes on the side that increase the comfort, as well as 2 clicky side buttons that are easily distinguishable when using the mouse, thanks to a smooth, shiny finish. The hard plastics result in a brilliantly weighted mouse, feeling as heavy as you'd want it to be. It doesn't feel its price. The DEATHADDER Essential is certainly a sturdy mouse for the price. The DEATHADDER Essential features a 6400 dpi sensor and is wired, meaning it's both quick and latency-free. For both gaming and day-to-day usage, it's a pleasure to use. There's no doubts that the Razer DEATHADDER Essential is a brilliant mouse for the money, especially given its legendary status and fantastic performance thanks to that 6400 dpi sensor. That being said, there's some stiff competition out there, which gives the DEATHADDER Essential a good run for the money. In particular, old Logitech has a plethora of options, such as its own veteran of the wired gaming mouse world, the Logitech G502, which might just edge the DEATHADDER Essential at the final hurdle. However, if you're a fan of the DEATHADDER series and want something stripped back to suit your budget, then the DEATHADDER Essential won't disappoint. At number 3. Redragon M602. The Redragon M602 wired gaming mouse is superbly designed, highly customizable wired gaming mouse. The mouse is designed for experts gaming pros who demand the very best performance. The gaming mouse is elegantly and comfortable thanks to a contoured smooth ergonomic design and offers smooth and precise movements due to its high precision sensor. This makes the mouse perfect for long-lasting gaming sessions, providing maximum comfort and support. Ideal for FPS gaming, the Redragon Griffin features a 7200 dpi optical gaming sensor with advanced tracking and high-speed motion detection for precise control. Offering on-the-fly DPI and profile switching with DPI color indicator, so you always make the right moves and can focus on your gameplay. The Redragon M602 wired gaming mouse in itself is nice to look at first glance and even retains a nice feel for its design. It attempts to be ergonomic for most, but I suppose some like myself would understand the problems once they attempt to get a feel for it. Firstly, it will fit most hands fairly well with its contoured shape. It's designed to let your hand rest with it, and that's a good thing. However, once you get past the grip and come to terms with the additional button placements, this is where you start to notice the problems. I believe the side buttons are placed too far forward. The forward button, despite its raised surface textures, is too far forward for a relaxed grip on the mouse. Then if you would move your hand forward, as if to clutch the mouse, you cannot press the other middle mouse buttons so easily without a very uncomfortable bend in the middle finger, and I find it to be very impractical despite it being a button, to be used for utility, especially given consideration that it is fully programmable. The fact you have to switch your hand positioning frequently in order to use this mouse also makes it quite useless for flicks if you're a person who plays shooters or real-time strategies. You won't be able to get comfortable with a single grip and work with it as you're learning two wrist motions to get the same results now that you are using two ways to grip your mouse to use the additional buttons. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Coming at number 2, Logitech G600. The Logitech G600 MMO gaming mouse is one of the finest gaming mice on the market. If you're looking for a mouse with more programmable buttons than you've got fingers, the G600 is well worth the $80 price tag. It even gives accessories from specialized gaming accessory outfits like Razer a run for their money. The G600 has a few advantages over the competition, starting with an extra 3 buttons. In addition to 12 buttons on the right side of the mouse, the left and right mouse buttons, and 2 additional buttons up top, the G600 sports an extra button that sits below your pinky. The G600 registers pushing the mouse wheel to the left or right in addition to the standard button action when you push down the wheel itself. While that may be confusing to read, in practice the extra buttons are very convenient once you spend some time with the device. On a mouse that's trying to stuff extra buttons onto every available surface, it's tough to find places where the user can actually conveniently press them, but Logitech somehow pulls it off with this mouse. While the software is a definite win for Logitech, the mouse hardware itself has a few problems. For starters, like almost every mouse with this many buttons, a lot of them are simply too difficult to reach. The bottom 2 rows are difficult to reach, and clicking the 2 buttons below the mouse wheel with your middle finger while keeping your index finger on the left mouse button requires positively inhuman dexterity. The mouse is also not going to win any customers with its ergonomics. I have relatively large hands, so the G600 wasn't uncomfortable for me to use personally, but it's not hard to imagine users finding the G600 difficult to use for long periods. Other mice at this price point let you adjust the ergonomics to make sure your hand can rest on the mouse comfortably, but the G600 has no such feature. Despite these hardware issues, the G600 one of the most pleasant and easily customized mice I've ever used. If functionality, not ergonomics, is your primary concern, and you're looking for a quality MMO mouse, the G600 is a hard mouse to beat. And number 1. Logitech G502. Maybe you're wondering why we reviewed the Logitech G502 back in 2018. The reasoning is sound. This mouse is so good that Logitech has kept it around for years, and the upgraded Logitech G502, as well as its wireless model, the Logitech G502 Lightspeed, gave us an extra reason to go back. The classic mouse design is still here, but with a new sensor to make it compete with the best gaming mice on the market. While some will love the design, its sharp, angular look makes it an odd fit outside of gaming scenarios. It's also built around a lot more buttons than the typical mouse, so not all grip types will be comfortable. But for those that like the design, there's almost nothing not to like. If you're familiar with the previous iteration of the G502, don't expect to see much change on the outside. It's still the dark, moody, angular, Batmobile-like mouse that it's always been. It looks odd in an office environment, but fits in a gaming battle station just fine. The build combines matte black plastic for the primary buttons and grips and puts glossy plastic between the mouse's aesthetically different sections and on the extra buttons. The matte plastic does a good job of hiding hand grease, but the glossy plastic fares worse. The Hero sensor offers flawless tracking from our experience with it. It supports a DPI range from 100 to 16,000, though we find the upper limit largely unimportant. What matters is how well it responds to our hand movements and how consistent it is. We never notice odd mouse movements. And, thanks to tracking at max speeds over 400 inches per second and max accelerations over 40 Gs, it'll be hard to push this mouse past its limit. For the brilliant performance this mouse gives and the incredible flexibility provided by all its buttons and weight customization, we give it a solid thumbs up. But we can't ignore the giant shadow cast over it by SteelSeries. The Hero sensor may boast of higher max DPI and max tracking speed, but the TrueMove 3 in SteelSeries' latest gaming mice is effectively flawless in our book. And the TrueMove 3 Plus adds a secondary sensor that takes accurate mouse control to the next level with advanced liftoff detection. The comfort and construction of the Rival 310, Sensei 310, and Rival 600 is also top-notch. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, share this video and hit the like button.